that Prithu Maharaj was under great opulence, but that in that way he was finishing off the results of his pious deeds. So this is the direction in which the verse is going. And very interestingly, Prabhupada is going in the opposite direction. Prabhupada is going in the opposite direction. So Prabhupada starts telling that a devotee, for him there is no simple reaction. Where are the reactions? Karmani nirdahati kintuja bhakti bhajam. So Maharaj is such a great devotee. Where is the question of any past karma, pious, impious? There is no pious, impious. And that's the Mahabhagavad. The Mahabhagavad, is it not? No pious, impious. So, no pious, impious works for a great Vaishnava like this. So then the question comes that, okay, then what is this reference to, as if by past deeds or pious deeds? And Prabhupada is telling this is just to compare with the ordinary living entities. Because for comparison purpose, you have to establish the understandable same matrix, is it not? Otherwise, how the comparison will come, is it not? That is the point. So, in other words, that the activities of Prithu Maharaj are being explained in an understandable terminology. That's all. Is it not? Understandable terminology. So that's the point. No. Understandable terminology. Because the matrix is different. So you have to, for the sake of understanding, one has to adopt a matrix on a conditioned plane so that they can make some sense out of what's happening with Prithu Maharaj. What's happening with Prithu Maharaj. And that's why this terminology is used. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. It's just like saying, say for example, if there is a primary class student, and he starts chatting with, or he starts talking to, say, a PhD student or a post PhD student. Jai Shri Nitai Chand Gaurchand Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So if a primary student starts talking to a PhD student, and the primary student is asking, so you gave exams, so therefore you are passing PhD, Now it's not exactly like that. You don't pass PhD by giving exams. You qualify to be registered for PhD by giving exam, but not after that, is it not? You pass PhD by research publications, is it not? But now the question is how to explain this concept of research publication to a small child, is it not? Right? He will not understand. He will say, "Kab kitna exam diya? Marks kitna hai? Kitna percentage?" Now in paper publication there is no percentage, is it not? So he will say, "Okay, what is their percentage?" The person will say, "नहीं, मेरा percentage है 25, 25 नहीं होता, चलो 5, 25 publications impossible." Okay, 5 publications. You say, "अरे 5, मेरा तो 90." So there is no comparison. How do you compare now? That is 90 is marks, 5 is publications, is it not? In publication, marks is not there. So the publication has its own impact factor, is it not? It has its own matrix that we understand. Okay, good publication, average publication, starting level publication, neophyte playground, like that, encouragement ground, whatever, there are levels and gradations. But this is very difficult for a primary student to understand. So one may say, okay, yes, I gave exams and passed, is it not? That's all. So what is the actual tathya? Now, why is Prithu Maharaj enjoying the opulence? Why is Prithu Maharaj enjoying the opulence? He is a Mahabhagavat. The simple answer is because he's a Mahabhagavat, he can enjoy opulence. What is the problem? The problem with opulence comes for a conditioned soul. Is it not? Opulence and conditioned soul, big problem. Is it not? Why? Because the conditioned soul is so messed up, he will not offer the opulence. Is it not? He will grab it all. Is it not? He will not conduct it. Whereas for an advanced devotee, opulence or no opulence does not matter, because if opulence is there, it is offered to Krishna. That means it is as good as not there. And if it is not there, there is no problem. No, he is offering service in the mind. He has no problem. Is it not? So who has problem? The problem is the conditioned soul. Okay. Like that. So therefore, an advanced soul and opulence, no problem. What is the problem? Where is the problem? The problem is in conditioned mindset, not in a liberated mindset, not in a Mahabhagavat mindset. That's the point. Is it not? So therefore, but conditioned souls may not exactly understand. Is it not? Like say for example, the opulence of Pundarik Vidyanidhi was not understood so easily. Although he was a great devotee, but that opulence was not understood so easily. Is it not? Sometimes the opulence of Lord Nityananda was not understood so easily. That's the point. Is it not? So you see the pastime, the thief getting attracted to Lord Nityananda. So why was Lord Nityananda wearing all jewels and everything? Why not? Is it not? Because he knows how to channelize it properly. Why was Lord Nityananda wearing? He was wearing so that even rogues and thieves like that fellow could get attracted to Lord Nityananda Prabhu and they can get delivered. That's why he was wearing. Sometimes it may be said, okay, Prabhupada would also wear some gold ring and all. But Prabhupada showed by wearing the gold ring, he could attract thieves and convert them to devotees. If you can do that, and it is coming easily, then good luck. Isn't that? Then good luck. Isn't that? If not, even if you pick a bead bag, that's good enough. Isn't? That's the point. That's the point. So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. So so opulence has problem only for a certain section of people. Otherwise, it's not a problem. Yes, Prabhu, question. Yes. 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 So that is a good point. The Gaur Maharaj says that Vaishnav doesn't show chamatkars, but sometimes he can. And many proper disciples experience that Prabhupada did some activities which were like amazing humanly, and that could just attract them to Krishna consciousness. So one devotee was sharing how he got attracted to Krishna consciousness. And this was a very interesting way in which he got attracted to Krishna consciousness. Not like that. And what was the way? Prabhupada was eating fruits. And Prabhupada would spit out the seed. And the seed would take up what do you call it as projectile trajectory, and it would land right into the dustbin. And this man, he got startled. Said, hey, really interesting. And he observed more intently, and Prabhupada spit out another fruit, another seed, and it fell right in. Another fell right in. This man said, wow, this is amazing. And he was looking at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada looked at him and he spit. And after a good number of seeds, this gentleman, he said, okay, Shishyaste ham. Shadi, Mahandam Prapannam. Quite interesting. Who can get attracted? You know, who can get attracted, you know, and in what ways they can get attracted, is it not? So there are a lot of pastimes in which uh, some vibhuti may be temporarily reflected, uh, just, you know, people can get attracted, uh, like that. So there was one disciple of Srila Rasikanand Thakur, this interesting story, and he saw some yogi doing some tricks and this and that, and he was really enamored by it. Oh, he started glorifying the feats and all that. And Rasikanand Thakur, you know, he was feeling, what is this Gramya Katha going on? What is this nonsense? This fellow has got bewitched, ghost haunted. You know? And he was telling Prabhu, what are you doing? You know? They're not listening. You know? He was not at all listening. You know? Rasikanand Thakur shook him up. And he got shaken up, and then he started looking at Rasikanand Thakur because he was lost in his world. He was lost in his world. He looked at Rasikanand Thakur. Rasikanand Thakur took his danda, you know, and he just swirled his danda. Then he started flying in the air, you know, you know. And he saw Rasikanand Thakur is flying in the air, you know. Yeah, just like Harry Potter, you know. But it was sannyas danda. It was not a jhadu. That is the difference. It was better than Harry Potter version. Better than Harry Potter version, actually, if you see. So he took a huge flight, one full round, you know, like that, and came back. This disciple was, you know, taken aback. He said, "Go and do seva." So yes, it's possible, like that. So, yes, question.
Like one person who was every time arguing with Srila Prabhupada, always doubted Prabhupada, always doubted Prabhupada. So once Prabhupada is known, and it was from foreign land, Prabhupada was wearing this Kadamba or Vajanti Mala flower. And he was shocked. There is no season for these flowers. From where Prabhupada has got garland? ये garland कहाँ से है? कुछ आसपास नहीं है. Then Prabhupada was like, for you, that's a spiritual world. Then that man surrendered to Prabhupada. Prabhupada doesn't belong to this world. Prabhupada belongs to spiritual world. If you garland, हो ही नहीं सकता था इधर उधर.
Oh. Yes, so Prabhupada's life, many pastimes. This one pastime, Prabhupada was wearing Vajanti Mala, some, some special flowers, which were not at all seasonal in that area or not at all possible in that area. So when this devotee who was in general doubting Prabhupada, when he saw that,
He was not a devotee, he was just a
yeah,
person.
so he had not committed to Srila Prabhupada, but he saw that this mala, where is he wearing? And he went to Prabhupada and asked. Prabhupada explained. Prabhupada just shared it. Came, you know, somebody from spiritual world came and offered. So he got faith.
Krishna came in that room. Prabhupada said Krishna came and Krishna.
So yes, no, senior acharyas can show, no, sometimes some chamatkar, but that's not the but that's not the regular matrix. But it may be possible. Basically, what happens is that something overflows out of their existence sometimes. In general, devotees are not at all focused, but on any such thing like this. But sometimes some things may just overflow out of their existence. The same is true for, you know, this Ashta Sattvic Vikar. In general, a devotee will control. A Pramanic devotee will never make an exhibition. But sometimes it may just overflow unconsciously out of their existence. That way. Yes.
Like instead of imitating that opulent ground, okay, they were also wearing good to be opulent and good to be a devotee, 16 rounder, more regular principles, and then maintaining personal assets worth crores and crores rather than going directly to. So, like, what lessons devotees should take instead of imitating on the opulent ground? की कोई बात नहीं, आपको तो भक्ति में सब allowed है. हाँ, सोलह माला करने का नहीं करना, फिर कैसा भी करने का सब allowed है. Example like simplicity है.
Okay, so the question is being asked is that should one aim to become practice devotional service like Pundarik Vidyanidhi and floating in opulences? That is the So the important point to note is that in case of Prithu Maharaj also, and in case of Pundrik Vidyadhari, this opulence was gifted by the Lord. It's not that they were struggling, foaming in the mouth, doing 22 hours, morning shift, evening shift, double shift, third shift, running, one day one leg in Bangalore, another day and the leg in Singapore, third day, going to New York, uh, no, so not that way, not that messed up way, actually. Is it not? So the point is, a devotee is not at all concerned about material anything. His only focus is to serve Krishna. Now, without focusing, if opulence comes, then a devotee uses in Krishna's service. Without focusing, if the opulence comes, then a devotee can offer it in Krishna's service. But there is no unnecessary attempt required to gather opulence. First gather opulence, then serve Krishna. It's an impossible paradigm. Because the moment opulence comes, opulence is like a tornado. Opulence is like a tornado. If it comes, nothing will remain. Where is the question of channelization? That's the point. And what to say of going out of the way to gather it? It means sure shot the person has not understood the presence of bhakti and the principles of bhakti. But like that walking, if it comes, no problem. Is it not? It comes. Like that story there, that of a young man who was so frustrated with his life, he wanted to commit suicide. So he jumped from a cliff. He jumped from a cliff. He thought that he will die peacefully at least. This world, at least he will die peacefully. At least. जगत के लोग कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे थे, कम से कम चैन से मरने तो थे. So he jumped from the cliff. Like that. But unfortunately, his calculation became little wrong. He thought it was a deep waterfall. It was not so deep, rather. Somehow or the other, he survived. Like that. But at that point of time, the princess and her friends, they were actually enjoying bathing in that waterfall. And when this young man, he jumped for committing suicide. Actually, he wanted to peacefully die. That's all. But when he jumped, it looked like that Tarzan movie type, and a starring performance, and the princess was she was, because right from her childhood, the princess was dreaming like that only something. That my Prince Charming will come, jumping from the sky, something like that. Something like that. So the princess, she told the king the whole incident. The king caught hold of this fellow, got him married to the princess. Is it not? This fellow went to commit suicide. He was sitting in the Singhasan, like that. Okay, if opulence comes in that style, no problem. But we don't have to go to commit suicide. We can go to do some seva. On the way, if something comes, it's fine. Otherwise, it's fine. Is it not? Like that. Yes.
So even if somebody is having all that by inheritance, like Giriraj Swami Maharaj is having, still like for our level, we are मतलब महाराज तो महाराज है हमारे लिए तो मतलब महाराज को opulent track से यूज नहीं किया. He surrendered himself completely to Prabhupada. He understood, because genuine devotee will understand that nothing belongs to him. But if the opulence belongs to him, so he will use like another.
No, Giriraj Maharaj's case, okay, so Giriraj Maharaj is inheriting all that opulence. Giriraj Maharaj's case, he was only an inheritor of the opulence. He was not the undisputed de facto authority over the opulence. And inheritance means what? Inheritance means you don't have rights yet. When do you get rights? Probably when the parents die. What time the parents die? As a thumb rule, the parents will die when he will be 50, 60. Is it not? As a thumb rule. If the parent died 90, then he will himself be 60. Is it not? And still, Still, whether many times what is the will of the parent, they get disclosed only after their death, is it not? So
And they will write any use for anything except this one.
no, whatever. So then, so inheritance is not at all, inheritance is not at all the matrix. It is just like a ghoda dimba, flower in the sky, is it not? So flower in the sky. So therefore there's no point. It was not at all logical to keep waiting for it. And secondly, it was not at all logical to keep waiting for it. So when one has power, then he can offer it to Krishna. Like one of the alvars, uh, like one of the alvars. I forgot the name of this alvar. But then he was attracted to this girl. Fortunately, this girl turned out to be a Vaishnavi. So therefore, she said, "I will only marry if you become Vaishnav." And he said, "Okay, I'll become Vaishnav. How to become Vaishnav?" She said, "Serve Vaishnava." So he started using. He was very wealthy. He started using his wealth to serve Vaishnavas. He said, "Okay, serving, na fine." He started doing big pandal, serving Vaishnavas, serving Vaishnavas. He got so much taste in serving Vaishnavas, he forgot that girl, like that. But till whatever time his wealth was there, he was serving the Vaishnavas, and his wealth got finished. Every single penny got finished. He got much more bigger wealth, the wealth of asakti to Krishna Nam. He became one of the alvars. There is no mention of that Mataji after that. He became an alvar, like that. She was obviously his Patpradaksha guru in that way. But she might have practiced Krishna consciousness and went forward. But then he got so much taste. So he had wealth, he had power, he gave up all his wealth for Krishna's service. And when all the wealth he had given, then he gave himself also. Is it not? Yeah. So this is the point. So that so somebody may say, okay, I have a lot of wealth, I can give wealth to Krishna, no problem. But Krishna is telling, not like that. First, wealth giving is just one step. I mean, if you take wealth giving is one step. After that, Krishna is telling you give yourself. Krishna is interested in us, is it not? And therefore, Krishna is telling, if you cannot give yourself, okay, then you can give your wealth. Like that. That's fine. Okay. Go. Over. 11. 12. Okay. So the question is that Prabhupada's times, there was a lot of missionary spirit. Devotees were dedicated, irrespective whether they're brahmachari, grahastha, mataji, prabhuji, child. Uh, but nowadays, with the wave of congregational development, uh, devotees are having some different devotees staying in metro cities. They are having their own setups, homes, and other home facilities. uh, so what is this, and uh, who can go back to Godhead, how, and that. So why is this, or why is the spirit of missionary spirit down, and what is needed for one to go back to Godhead? How does that affect the guru? Okay, if one is initiated. uh, okay, so the principle is simple. The more the material comforts, the fervor of spiritual life goes down. Yeah. So if we are referring to opulent congregations, uh, uh, I mean, they are existing not because it is no, that is the norm nowadays. That no, it is not a grahastha norm that one should be opulent, one should have his own home, one should have this much lakhs of bank balance. One should have okay, crore bank balance, or these are that is not the norm. The norm is set by the acharyas. The norm is set by Lord Krishna himself. The norm is satatam, 24 hours being engaged in the service of the Lord. That is the norm, irrespective of what is the ashram. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Madhyastha, whatever. That's the point.
Somebody is saying big microscope.
So, so now, no, uh, so now, if like, if like a crab, we, I mean, it's like, one just sees, examples which are diluted and projects it as a norm or accepts it as a norm. That is a problem, is it not? That is a problem. So why is that allowed for anybody or any grahastha? This is the reason is the same why there are different levels of prescriptions in the Vedas to preclude rejection. Because not everyone is ready to practice Krishna consciousness sincerely and seriously. And therefore, whatever level one can practice, he is encouraged at that level. So therefore, there will be a level of uh, so yes, so we can see congregation, we can see various levels. Similarly, brahmacharis also you can see various levels. Similarly, sannyasis also you can see various levels. Gradation is everywhere. But what should we aim for? We should aim for the highest thing. Is it not? Why to waste time? Is it not? Every, so if you see the statistically, some student will score 90, some student will score 100, some student will score 9. Is it not? Some students will score 1, 2 out of 100. Is it not? Like that. Like one of our devotee professors, he was once sharing. He said his criteria for passing. He said, Prabhu, if in the absolute scale, even if one get 10 marks out of 100, I passed it. Very, very magnanimous. In 40 is the passing mark. At 10, he is passing. So I mean, quite magnanimous. But he was saying, you see, Prabhuji. When I said, okay, so your class, nobody will be failing then. He said, no, no, Prabhuji, some people still fail. He said, they don't allow me to pass. They are not even scoring 10 marks out of 100. So, not even scoring 10 marks out of 100. You see, this marking, no. So, I mean, if you do your assignments, I think 20-30% weightage is assignments only, is it not? So, they don't even attend the classes actually. Attendance is 5 marks, 7 marks actually. Is it not? If they attend the class, get some 1-1, 2-2 marks in the test and some 3-4 marks or in the mid sem and end sem, they will pass. Is it not? So they're not lying, like that. So that's the uh, huh. Yeah, so there is gradation in brahmachari, gradation in grihasthas. It's like that, is it not? Like uh, for some, 16 rounds may be the ultimate thing. If 16 rounds are done, then it is, say otherwise we call them as well-wishers and donors, no? If one is not chanting 16 rounds, we call them as well-wishers and donors. We'll say, okay, this is donor cultivation, this is WWF, this is Nitya, no, or what is that? One time, what is that one-time registration? Life membership. Yeah. So it does not, these are not devotees. They are life. Somebody says, I'm life member. Life member. The devotee then. Yeah? So we easily categorize them, classify. So, so if one is chanting, the basic minimum is okay, you chant 16 rounds and Janmashtami and maybe Gaur Purnima be in the temple. Or when the JBC Guru comes, then be in the temple. You come 3-4 times. So then you're devotee. So for some devotee, that's good enough. Some devotees weekly is good enough. Once in a week go. So now, is that the norm for Grihastha life? No, not at all. Haritoshanam is the norm. But what to do? I mean, that those devotees, they can only do that. So how should we see them? We should encourage them at whatever level they are. Encourage them for what? Encourage them not to do self gratification. That okay, you're doing enough of Krishna consciousness, now you can do whatever you like. Encourage them to take a step towards Krishna, one step further towards Krishna. Is it not? Maybe whatever step they are ready to take, but at least a small step towards Krishna. Is it not? That's the point, but that's not the norm. The norm is very clear. The norm is very clear. So why people are not doing it now? Why people are doing it? This is an individual's decision. Yes. Now let's say gradations and brahmacharis. Yes, some brahmacharis feel that because they have renounced and they have joined temple, some or the other, like a birthday, you just have to touch that line, dying somehow, you just touch that line, ashram line, like that, some or the other has touched that ashram line. He feels okay, I am victorious now. Now I'll just come with the plate 3 times prasad, and so some brahmacharis, their life is quite enthusiastic, like that. They somehow tolerate and pass through the morning program. After that, it's heavenly, Only torches in the morning program. After that, it's heavenly. As soon as morning program ends, you just take your plate, sit down, Somebody will come and put good prasad, like that, You just tell them, 5 chapati, second serving, third serving. Is it not? Is it not? And after that, I have seen after breakfast prasad, devotees go to take rest, like that. Oh, 2.5 hours, nicely take rest, no problem, peaceful, serene, spiritual atmosphere, you get very good rest. Yeah. You get nice 2.5 hour rest, like that. Now after that, get up at 12 o'clock, like that. And 12 to 1, nicely take bath, in the sun, enjoy, nice bathing, everything, and and then 1 o'clock again sit down, prasad, is it not? Like that. 1 o'clock again sit down, prasad, is it not? So and then do some chit chatting. Some people take for taking guidance, give them some blessing, give them some advice, like that, and yeah, 2:30 brahmachari class, So just tolerate a bit, There is falashruti of that tolerance, because if you tolerate 2:30 to 4:30, like that, then the Mahabhog fruits come for the brahmacharis exclusively, this big, So whatever the season, everything will be there in that plate, because that plate was meant for their lordships. So everything will be there, isn't that? And so you can enjoy a night fruit salad, is it not? Like that, you can enjoy a night fruit salad, and after that you can go for a walk downstairs. A lot of people are there. You can offer some blessings here and there. So yes. Continue in Krishna consciousness. Like that. 6:30 dinner prasad. Like that. And 6:30 dinner prasad. Like that, and you can peacefully take dinner prasad 7:30, 7:45. Nice. Some devotees will come from Govinda's, offer you something. You can say, okay, I don't need it, but you're giving anyways, no problem. Like that. 7:45, make a few calls here and there, like that. 8:30, put up your mat and go to sleep. Go with the class, not compulsory. Very nice life. Like that. But that's one level of it. Now, sometimes some devotees say, okay, maybe Grahas are working hard, he may be better than such a level. I mean, that's all fine. I mean, the point is that there are gradations, is it not? There are gradations like that. Similarly, in sannyas ashram also there are gradations. In the sannyas life also there are gradations. What is gradation in sannyas life? That was the burning question since long, like that. Like one Maharaj was sharing. Okay, Triple B Maharaj was sharing. Bhakti Brihad Bhagwat Maharaj. He was sharing that there was this training seminar for I think aspiring for existing gurus, aspiring gurus, aspiring sannyasis or existing sannyasis. So basically, anyways, he was explaining that actually one of his some acquaintance of his sannyasi, like that. And then that sannyasi devotee was sharing that actually it's good to apply for sannyas, it's good to apply for guruship. Why? Because old age is coming. So I mean, it's difficult to struggle so much. But then if you have disciples, you're nicely taken care of. Nice. Well, sannyasi means what? 20 items every meal, like that. So then Maharaj was explaining that how you see that was such a shallow and such a cheap motivation, is it not? That was such a shallow and cheap motivation. So yes, that's the lowest gradation, that one may want to take sannyas just so that his flight tickets can be paid, and wherever he goes he can have a room, his health bills can be paid. Food can be opulent, and so on and so forth, and fan following, and so on and so forth. Therefore, Prabhupada says the sex desire does not go away even after sannyas. It may take a subtle form. It may take a subtle form, but then this will happen even after sannyas. So that is one level. So even in the Vedic time, there is Kutichak, Bahudak. Then after that, there is Parivaragacharya, Paramhamsa, and Paramhamsa. The 5 levels actually. So I think Kutichak is just staying outside of his house in the same village. His wife is coming and serving him food. Children are giving him pocket money. That is his base. After that, he